Hello, in this lesson we are going to talk about Bitcoin Cash and how it differs to Bitcoin. The first thing that might come to your mind is it's a cash equivalent of Bitcoin. How you have cash notes for Great British Pounds, for the US dollar, for rupees and various other currencies around the world. It's exactly the same. Unfortunately, it is not. That is not what Bitcoin Cash is. It is not a cash equivalent. That is incorrect. It is actually a new cryptocurrency. So, just like there are several other cryptocurrencies, it might share its name with Bitcoin, but it is not the same, or not in its entirety. So let's just go over some history, some more specific history of Bitcoin, and we'll understand why this new currency was even created. So, in mid-July 2017, companies and mining pools and mining pools that totaled over 80% of the Bitcoin computing power, they voted to implement a technology within Bitcoin, a technology called segregated witness, or you might see it commonly referred to as SegWit2x. For the remainder of this video, I will refer to it as SegWit2x. And SegWit2x, it makes the block size smaller, and it actually achieves this by removing signature data, and it sometimes is as effective as removing 65% of the size of the block. And as you can imagine, that has huge implications on the actual overall foundation of the currency. So it's something worth considering. And you might be thinking, but okay, this is great. There's always new stuff that you can add, but why were people even thinking about adding this? And it was regarding scalability, scalability of the current platform, because as more users were adopting it, they had to make sure it could scale. They had to make sure it could handle more transactions, more users, more concurrent load, because if it can't, no matter how good the overall system is, if you can't handle 1 million, 2 million, or even a billion plus users, essentially the entire world, it won't be able to replace the current banking system we have. So it's all about scaling the current platform. So regarding that aspect, making it smaller definitely will help. And what happened was, on the 1st of August 2017, some developers and miners, so some developers and miners created a hard fork of the current Bitcoin, and I can guess that you know what this new hard fork was called. If you don't, let me give you a clue. This resulted in a new cryptocurrency currency, and it was called Bitcoin Cash. You might be thinking, what is a hard fork? I've got a separate video covering that, but the essence is there's two types of forks: hard forks and soft forks. Soft fork is like updating a piece of software, and a hard fork is essentially getting the current piece of software and modifying it and distributing it as a whole new piece of software. That happens all the time within the open source community. Forking is actually a legit term within open source. If you go on GitHub, there's actually an actual button where you can fork a code repository. So a hard fork in this case created a whole new cryptocurrency. So that's all well and good, but why did they create a whole new cryptocurrency? If we're talking about scaling, would SegWit2x not have solved the issues? And though it would have helped, the ultimate reason that people didn't believe that SegWit2x would work, or the reason they created a whole new fork, was people believed that SegWit2x did not fundamentally solve the problem of scalability. It just merely patched it up. So they wanted a better solution, hence why they went down the route of a hard fork. And what they did was they increased the block size to 8 megabyte to overcome this, and that has helped since, because before that the actual size of a block was 1 megabyte with the potential for it to go up to 2. And I've got a separate video that covers SegWit2x and all of the nuances around this and what this actually means for the daily run-ins, the transactions. So feel free to check out that video for more in-depth analysis. So I'm guessing the next question that you have is, which one is running? And as of 2017, or I should say as of October 2017, when I'm actually recording this video, Bitcoin is still running, and that has a price of $5,819 as of now. Bitcoin Cash is still running, and this has a price of $314. Am I thinking, okay, Bitcoin has a higher price, let's buy that one? Obviously, with Bitcoin Cash, you get more coins. You ultimately, as a buyer, have to think, you have to research, which one do you think has more longevity? Which one do you think will allow you to, let's say, buy and sell it at certain prices so you can make a profit? So there's no one that you should buy over the other, even though the regular Bitcoin is the more popular one. Bitcoin Cash could overtake it. Like I said, Bitcoin is, as of 2017, the largest cryptocurrency by far, but the market is in its early days, so only time will tell which one will ultimately succeed. So the last thing I'm going to cover is what happens to current Bitcoin users. So what happens? Do they get the new coin? Do they just keep the old coin? Do they get no coins? Well, if you have your own wallet, then you can choose. So your own wallet allows you to choose. But if you're with an exchange and exchange will ultimately decide for you. As of now, I think they will ultimately decide for Bitcoin because that seems like it's got more longevity. But like I said, it's in its early days and that could change. So that's it for comparing Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. Actually, there's one last thing I want to do. As you know, Bitcoin, the shorthand version is BTC. So that is Bitcoin. And you might be thinking, does Bitcoin Cash have a shorthand version? And it does. It's BCH or referred to as BCC. These are the two terms that are used to refer to Bitcoin Cash. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Feel free to go over the video again and look at some of the concepts that we covered. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next lesson.